Welcome to the Biz Kidz podcast. As always, we are here to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs, and we are excited today. We have a guest, Jason. Jason has been in the business of email marketing and is an expert on how to get people to take action. And so we're excited that he is here today. Jason Donapel. Oh, now I messed it up. I knew I was going to mess it up. How do you say your last name, Jason?
Donapel.
Donapel. Sorry about that. And we're excited you're here. What we always like to start off with is we teach kids how to do their 60-second pitch. So can you give us your 60-second pitch of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I am Jason Donapel. I am a audience growth expert, audience activation expert based out of Philadelphia, PA. I help my clients and my people basically grow their audiences, grow their lists, and send them messages, talk to them more effectively.
That's awesome. And now, as for you, how long have you been in kind of the business world? Where did you kind of start your journey with the entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I've been running my business for 8 years now as a co-founder operator. Beforehand, I was head of marketing for a couple organizations. I started in e-commerce about 20 years ago, just working in a warehouse, picking, packing, orders would come in and I would pick the item and ship it out. I spent about 10 years at that company, worked my way up to become head of marketing, and then sort of used that to follow my interests until I'm running, my business today, where all we do is email and SMS marketing, which is my favorite thing.
So did you have the entrepreneur bug when you were a kid? Did you sell candy at school? Did mow lawns, anything like that?
Yeah, here in Philadelphia, the schools we're a big soft pretzel city. I don't know if you know about that. So in schools, in grade schools and things, it's very common for kids to sell soft pretzels. Like these are school-run programs, and then if you're the pretzel kid, you get to go to the office and get the big pretzel bag and bring it back to your classroom and sell them they were $0.25 a piece back then. So I was a pretzel kid in school for my homeroom, and I was also helping with selling chocolate milks and stuff in the cafeteria. I didn't think of it as a business owner. I really didn't know that owning a business or running a business was an option, right? I had only thought that there was only one way, go to school, go to college, get a job, and then work, do whatever. So that's the path that I was on. And it was sort of not until I kind of was later on in life, I realized, oh, wow, you can actually start your own business and run your own thing and kind of follow your own path. So a lot of your listeners are kind of ahead of me, actually.
Well, as a kid, for me, I sold bandanas. So yeah, I was a kid of the 80s, and bandanas wrapped around your leg was the cool thing. So nice. I actually sold bandanas and got expelled from school from actually selling products in the school. And my mom went down and talked to the principal and said, aren't we supposed to be teaching our kids how to run businesses? Like, what are you doing? Why are you expelling it? So
that's funny.
The principal actually let me back in school. So
now in high school, I was selling CDs and things when that whole technology became, you could burn your own CD. And I was, captivated by I could do that. So I was selling CDs in school for like $5, $10 a piece. But again, it didn't feel like a business move, right? It just felt like, oh, here's a thing I can do. And oh, you want a CD? Great. I'll hook you up.
Yeah. So as for kids that are in our program, they're selling products at events where they're sitting at a table. They're really not building lists yet, but kind of thinking forward for these young entrepreneurs as they start to get into business and they actually start having an actual business where they want to start connecting with people. What are the skills you say they should start building? Should they start looking at building an email list? Should they start looking at how am I going to contact my customers after they buy a sell? Or am I going to text message them? Where would you say they should start thinking forward on that?
I think that's a really good question. And I think it's a really good place for a young entrepreneur to spend their time thinking about the full scope of what's going to happen with these customers after I meet them at a trade show or at a place where I did an exhibition or I was able to give my pitch. Because, what happens is that businesses aren't really successful by selling one product and then parting ways with their customer base, right? The ways that businesses are successful and allow their owners to sort of scale up and grow over time is by creating repeat customers and serving, selling to the same customers over and over again. So I would actually highly encourage anybody who is doing face-to-face meeting, building a network like at a trade show, able to pitch your product or have a booth. I would say that while selling the product is it's very, making that first dollar is a monumental moment, and it kind of shows you that you're on the right track. But I think that early on, growing your list and growing your audience is probably more important than any of the dollars you're generating today. Because what it is it's setting you up for long-term growth and long-term dollars over a longer time when you don't have to take yourself to an exhibition or pay a fee to rent a booth, or it's not free to go meet these customers at these expos, and it might only happen once a year or twice a year. So creating a way that you can talk to these customers and these users who have shown interest in your product or your business the whole year round without having to spend get on a flight, get on a plane, go to an expo, just being able to send an email, send an SMS, is really where I would spend my time focused if I was a young entrepreneur. Because the people that you meet today, you might still be selling them products that you develop in your 20s. You never know.
So, for somebody that's doing a show, and this could apply to those companies or businesses, mom and dads that are doing farmers markets, how would you tell them to like start growing their list? Is it just a matter of if they pay with a credit card, you try to get their email at that time,
Mm.
or how should they be looking at that from a standpoint of, hey, I'm selling a product at one of these events. How should they start?
Well, so you are selling the product, but what you are really selling is the whole business, the whole ecosystem of what your business is. So that could be you, if it's a very like, hey, this is my business and I'm Jason and I'm running it. So look at me and pay attention to the things that are, about me and that. But it could also be if you're selling, Apple's selling iPhones, and what they're really selling you is Apple, right? Not just a one product. So I would honestly try to disconnect the list growth from the sale. I want people's emails and phone numbers and things, even if they're not ready to purchase with me today. Honestly, I probably want their numbers more, because, having somebody come meet you the first time and then place an order or hand you money or hand you a credit card is a high ask, and not everybody's going to be ready to do that. Some people need more reasons to buy. Some people need more selling done to them. Those exhibitions are loud. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of other booths and other things that are taking their attention elsewhere. So one of the first things I would look to do is come up with a unique way to get my list growth before a sale even happens, before we're even talking about a sale. And that could be any number of ways. That could be, a landing page that gets people to sign up for, a discount for the first purchase, which is sort of what everybody's doing in the space. But it could also be some sort of value connected to your business, right? If you're selling some sort of product that makes it easier to take care of pets or pet goods, or maybe you're selling homemade pet treats or all natural, dog biscuits, maybe the email address you're giving it in exchange for like a free dog training downloads, or free, how to, 10 ways to get your dog to walk next to you on the street, or, there's a lot of ways that you could present the things you're good at to your audience that's connected to the product you're selling. There's a lot of value in whatever space you're operating in. And having people say, hey, look, I'm an expert here. Give me your email address, give me your phone number, and I'm going to send you messages and text about this space we're in, and I'm going to give you value. I'm going to just tell you the things I know and help your life get better within the category I'm good at. That way, even if somebody's not ready to buy, you still have this way to communicate with them, and you're communicating about the products you're selling, right? And that allows you to form a stronger relationship over time. And when they are ready to buy, there you are. You're in their inbox, and you have, whether it's through your website or if you're on Amazon or eBay or whatever it is, you have these relationships, and you can sell over and over and over again.
So when these kids are getting ready for a show, some of them will get on social media and post like, "Hey, I'm going to be there. Come down and see me." But a lot of the social media audience is not in that direct area that we're having the actual show. Now, I've heard, and I'm not an expert at social media, but I hear if you put like links in your social media posts that are driving traffic away from that format, they kind of throttle down where that's being seen. What is kind of a tip or trick that you would say, hey, if you're going to try to drive that traffic to get people to get on your list? How do you do that in a social media post where it's not driving the traffic and your post is being blocked?
Yeah, so that. I think what you brought up is the exact reason why I do what I do, because we have business owners and entrepreneurs that want to speak to their audience. I see somebody on Instagram with 100,000 followers, and I just think, man, I hope they built a list outside of Instagram, because the second Instagram changes the rules, they won't be able to talk to any of those 100,000 people again, right? Or
Yeah.
it's just not really up to you, right? I think of it as you're operating like in somebody else's mall, and you hope they don't change the rules. So there's some different tactics per, depending on what social media channel you're looking at. I know in Facebook, you can just put forms right in Facebook and have people opt in. Hey, you want to see me at my next show? Put your email here and you'll be first in line. But I think your question really shows the exact reason why list growth is more important than social reach or even paid ads or anything. Because in that same scenario, if you had dedicated, some time to list growth, and instead of putting that post on Facebook or Instagram and saying, hey, I'm going to be at this expo center, come see me, and hoping that the algorithm shows it to the people you want to show it to, if you had them on your email list, you don't have to worry about any of that, right? You're sending them a message and you're saying, hey, you know me, I'm going to be at this expo center in 2 weeks. Come see me. And it's just a direct line to somebody's inbox. You don't have to worry about these channels getting in the way of it. So what I recommend every business owner I talk to, no matter what size their business is or how long they've been in business, is everything you're doing on social, everything you're doing on any website or space that doesn't belong to you, you need to find a way to push them to your websites. If it's it has to be your YouTube channel with a way that they can sign up for your lists, right? Social media look, it changes. They change the rules all the time. So we'll say, yes, as of this recording, like some of the platforms do push you down for links. Who knows in 6 months? That's the whole, that's the problem with those channels. They change. But even so, the goal needs to be getting people onto your list. So get them off of social media, get them onto your list, and that way you can talk to them more and more frequently. Just straight up tell people, like I just tell my audience, I really want to speak to you. It's really hard to do it on social. Join my email list. It's more reliable. This is how you're actually going to hear from me.
Yeah, and since our audience is mostly young entrepreneurs and trying to just get into this, there are some legal aspects to like actually getting a person on a list to get the approval to send an email or an SMS text. What do they have to do to kind of like protect themselves so they don't have the government coming after them and saying, hey, you're spamming people, and then they get a fine?
Yeah, if you go, so SMS is kind of scary for fines, but if you do a really basic, like MailChimp has free email signups and you can grow like a really basic list. And all that stuff is kind of built in if you use a tool like that. So I would recommend, depending on how old you are, getting mom, dad to help you sign up for a really simple account like MailChimp. And then at that point, it's really, really simple. It's all pre-built. You can have little QR codes where people scan with their phones and it'll take them to sign up to your list that way. There's all sorts of kind of pre-built things on these simple tools. And if you use the platform, they'll help you. They'll help you not break the law and sign up illegally. But honestly, the types of signups that your audience is doing, it's really one-to-one, person-to-person. They're not going to get in trouble, right? You get in trouble when you start driving tens of thousands of ads to a site and getting people to sign up. When you're doing person-to-person transaction, you'll see the people will be happy to sign up and they'll be happy when you contact them.
So if you're selling a product, now we've all signed up for lists and sometimes we get emails 3 or 4 times a day. What are you saying? And at that point, if I get 3 or 4 in a day, I usually unsubscribe because I'm like, come on. I just signed up. I want to know about your product, but I don't want 4 emails a day from you. So where do you kind of think is the sweet spot on reaching out to your customers and telling them about you? Is it once a day, once a week?
Yeah, I think you can start with, if somebody just signs up, you can send them something immediately. So as soon as they sign up, they're going to be expecting something to come back. So make sure that first reply, hey, thanks for signing up. Here's a little bit about the business. Basically, here's why I do what I do. I really think of it as if there was 10 things you wanted everybody in this conference or anybody in the expo to know about your business, what would they be? And this could be reasons you started it. This could be why your product is so different and better than others in the space. There's a lot of different unique values of a business and they can come from any different angle. So if you spend a lot of time thinking through what are the top 10 things I like to stick with, the top 10 things that I just want everybody to know about my business. Then on that first email, you just hit some of them. Okay, I'm going to hit the top 3. Just to make sure that they're in here. This is why I do what I do. This is why we started. And here's, my dog, the inspiration for the company. Anything, people want to buy from you. They don't want to buy from your logo or a company. Or they want to understand you and why you're doing what you're doing. Especially when you're a kid. Use that to your advantage. People love kids running businesses and you should use that to your advantage. I'm only 10 and look at me go. That absolutely will work. And then what you could do is plan a series over the next 7 to 10 days. You can send an email maybe every 24 to 48 hours. And you're just working through your syllabus, right through that list of 10. And by the time you get to the bottom of it, what you'll realize is that most people, a significant amount of people will go through and convert. They'll either click or they won't click, and you'll start learning which emails are working, which emails are not. And then we can start getting into the fun stuff of, okay, let's try a different version. This one didn't work so well. Let's try a new email. And then you can start to iterate and try to get better every single day.
Now, I know this is your business and email marketing probably better than anybody out there. From an industry standard, is it still one of the most effective ways to market? Like,
Oh, yeah.
or are people like sick of emails
Nope.
and not opening them?
Nope, it's the number one way, right? If we talk about return on dollars in, you're going to get an average of $44 for every one you spend in email, and that's still untouched by any other channel. It just is what you might get $3 or $4 on a Facebook ad, and it's not helping. It's not helping you run the business. But email, think about the people who get your emails are people that signed up to get your emails. You're not invading anybody's space, right? And if they don't want them anymore, they can simply opt out. So it's a very two-way channel where both parties, I'm saying that I want to talk to you, you're saying you want to talk to me, and then the messages are sent. So email is still extremely, extremely effective as long as we treat the people on our list well and we understand that these are just people. They're not a list of leads or robots. It's not a list of bank accounts we want access to, right? It's a list of people that are looking to connect, and using email is the most cost-effective way to connect with them still.
So entrepreneurship is always about finding a problem and finding a solution to fix a problem. So I'll make this a little more personable for what we're doing. So as an organization, for us as a nonprofit, we try to promote out to our families that, hey, we have an event coming up. And I'm seeing only about a 20, maybe a 25% open rate of all the emails that I'm sending out. And then at the event, I get all these parents coming up to me and they're mad and going, hey, why didn't you tell us that we're doing this? And I'm like, I sent the email. So why or how can we get that open rate up even more? Is it just about how you're positioning it, or am I going into spam because I'm a new email? Or what is it like?
Yeah.
What's causing the open rate? And I don't know, what is the average open rate when you send out a mass email?
It varies based on what your list is. It depends on what your list is made up of, right? So that's going to be the biggest impact. But 30-40%, you really want to be up higher. So I'll say after we're done recording, you should let me run some tests to see if you are in spam. But yeah, my first thought is, are we in spam? Because that spam is a necessary function of email, and we want it. By the way, without spam, email is unusable and nobody can contact anybody on it. So it's a good thing that it's there, and to be to follow the spam rules and make sure that you get your messages landing where they want to land is a big part of the game. It's, most of the time it's a combination of that spam. What's in the email? Is it just one big image? If so, Google's not going to like it and they're going to try to push it to spam. They like text. The robots can't read images, so they don't like images, right? They want text. So I generally would say, write emails from yourself if you're a founder, especially an audience like this where you are the founder of your business. Like, write emails from yourself, plain text, maybe one or two small images just to kind of lighten it up. Limit the number of links you have in there, 1 to 2 links. You don't want 50 hyperlinks going all over the place. Google doesn't like that. And then also only send to the people that told you that they want to hear from you. Don't go buying lists. Don't try to rent lists from anybody else. Don't, just stay in your lane. Do it the slow way. Get yourself 20, 30, 40 leads from every expo you go to. And over time, that's going to build and snowball into a really, really valuable list. I will say the thing about email, and when you're growing a brand new list from scratch, it feels like an uphill battle until suddenly you tip and you say, oh, my email list is just killing it. Like, it's just crushing it now. It's doing what I need it to do. So stay the course. Stay with your email. Eventually, it's an investment that will work for your business in the future.
Well, obviously, like I said, your business. And so if we look at your entrepreneur journey, what has been something that you've had a huge success, and like, this is like, I'm so glad I went into being an entrepreneur and not working for somebody in a warehouse anymore.
Yeah.
What was it for you that kind of got you to walk away from the other job to say, hey, I'm going to do this?
At a certain point, it just felt like I couldn't do anything else, right? I was doing the full-time job all day, and then I was working overnight on my business. So I was basically 7 a.m. until like 2 a.m. or something, going the full clock. And at a certain point, I just realized that I can't, I'm not, it was scarier to stay than it was to leave. And I think that sometimes I wish I would have jumped ship a little sooner, but I literally waited until I could not do both things any longer. And then I decided to go my own way and bet on myself. I think that I didn't have exposure to business ownership. So it was a very hard for me to take the leap. It wasn't part of I didn't know any business owners. It wasn't anything I saw growing up. It just wasn't part of my environment. So by the time I finally took the leap, it was like, I just have to, I had been working on it for so long, I couldn't not just do it anymore. It demanded all of my time. And then once I got into it, I realized the benefits of being able to, follow my instincts and my gut. If I felt like something was going to be valuable, I now had the freedom to explore it, learn it, bring it to my business, and then realize that, oh yes, this is valuable. And, being able to be like the person who finds that, learns it, brings it back, teaches other people in the business, and then watches it get, used for clients, and watching it get used and actually bring a positive impact to people around me. Like, that became such a feedback loop that I just became obsessed with. And now, yeah, it really is just like looking for opportunities. What can I learn next? What can I do next? It's all about learning and teaching, and then learning and then teaching in business ownership. It's a really an amazing thing.
Well, and like you were saying that you didn't have anybody to kind of teach you about business. That's why we started this organization, because when I was a kid, I loved business, but both of my parents were educators, and they had no connections with business. They didn't have that entrepreneur mind. They had educator mind. Like, hey, you get a job, you stay with that job for
Yep.
40 years, and then you retire.
Yeah.
And so that's why we try to open up this opportunity for kids to be able to hear from business owners and start learning that along the process. Because what a way to like open your mind on all these different things. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of talk to us about marketing and such. What advice would you give kids to get out there and try entrepreneurship and get out there and try a business?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, you don't really have to go into it. I would just recommend going in very optimistic. Just be optimistic about whatever you're going to try next, and really do it with everything you have. If you're going to start something new and you're going to try something new, there's really no point in going into it thinking what if, or maybe not, or what if. Just go in and assume whatever issues come up, I'll figure out as I go. They're gonna teach me how to be better in my next whatever is I try to do next. And you don't have to be worried about things working or not working, or failing or not failing, or you don't have to be so tied to the outcomes. Just enjoy every step, enjoy every day, enjoy every frustration that pops up as you're running through a new business, because you're never going to account for everything. And just understanding that the waves and the ebbs and flows, these are all just lessons and opportunities for you to learn and become a better version of yourself tomorrow and the next day and the next day. There's going to be days where it feels like you're hitting your head against the wall and there's no path forward. And then 24 hours later, there'll just be nothing but opportunity around you, and you won't even understand how the tide changed so fast. So just enjoy every moment of it, the good ones and the ones you don't think are good.
Our average student makes $275 when they do an event with us. The above average kids, about the 20%, was anywhere from $700 to $900 at a show. And so we find that that's a good motivation to try it, because you spend 4 to 5 hours on an event on a weekend and you make $800. It's going to be hard to go get a job and work for $11 an hour or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's our motivation. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Jason, to be with us today. I'd love to have you back on the show, because I'm sure there's a ton of other things that we could talk about, from email marketing to SMS, and giving our kids some ideas of how to think forward on that. And we also have a lot of parents that they're here doing this with their kids, but they have businesses as well that are struggling to get those people to open those emails and stuff like that. So I will put all your details, links into our description of our show. How do people get a hold of you if they want to find out more about your business and how you can help them with their email marketing?
Oh, so I'm on LinkedIn, Jason Donapel, and also jasondonapel.com. Those sites are just like information. There's blogs, there's articles, there's things you can read about the space, e-commerce, retention marketing. So it's a big education push.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today. If you are interested in getting your kids involved with the Biz Kidz, you can find us at bizkidsusa.org, and we can get your kids connected with us, and you don't have to be in Southwest Florida to be a part of our group. We have training online where the kids can actually find out more skills about entrepreneurship, and they can start a business anywhere. So thanks for being here. Thanks again, Jason, and have a great day. We'll see you guys next time.